Good morning, geeks and gamers. Welcome to the 199 Daily Fix. Is that right, Ryan? The 199 Daily Fix. No, I was just
that's a new one. I didn't know that.
I was just making shit up. So,
right.
but we are here. We are live, and it is Geeks and Gamers Daily, coming off an awesome Tuesday night's main event. As always, thank you all for being there, and then thank you all for tuning in here to Geeks and Gamers Daily. We got a few things to talk about. We also are joined by Ryan, who just recorded a Sports Wars video and is currently making a thumbnail as we speak, because that's what Ryan does.
Yeah, and I think, of course, it's probably going to get fucking limited. Of course it is, because how dare you talk about someone get arrested? How dare you talk about somebody getting arrested for sexual battery? We can't talk about that on YouTube.
No, not at all.
Bullshit. But anyway, yes, Jackson Mahomes got arrested, so I had to make a quick video about that for Sports Wars. But yeah, hey, listen, I know it's another day without Hollywood writers. Somehow we're surviving. Somehow this show is continuing on. Somehow, we didn't actually have anything written to prepare. That's why Jeremy had to make up that thing about the 199 Daily Fix. But we're still going to be here. We're still going to continue on because we do write our own material.
That is right. That is right. So check this out. I did officially change the name of Geeks and Gamers 2 to not 2 Geeks, 2 Gamers. But I did change it to Geeks and Gamers Life. That is our vlog channel now. Officially our vlog channel. I did consider 2 Geeks, 2 Gamers because it sounds funny, but in all reality, I didn't think about Too Fast, Too Furious when I said that. I was thinking about 2 girls, 1 girl. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. I couldn't do it. But it's all good. Wanted to let everybody know about that. And you're going to see some more vlogs. We're going to start doing some vlogs today. As soon as this is over, we got some stuff to do. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Suresh is in town. So we're going to go hang out with him for a little bit. That'll be fun.
Yeah. No, it's going to be cool. And we hope you guys will go check out that channel. Steph's been doing a great job over there. So shout out to My Nerdy Home. And yeah, Brandon says rest easy, Geeks and Gamers Clips. Yes, RIP Geeks and Gamers Clips. But yeah, that's I couldn't do the two Geeks, 2 Gamers. As funny as the meme was, and as funny as the idea of it was, I could not do it. We got Scott McKenzie dropping a gifted Geeks and Gamers membership. Thank you, Scott.
And we got some pretty big stuff going on after this stream, right, Jeremy? Right here on the channel.
Boogie2988 will be on the Side Scrollers podcast here on Geeks and Gamers Wednesday. Every Wednesday, the Side Scrollers podcast is here on this channel on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, check it out. It's going to be pretty good. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. We got Callum says for 5 says, could you do a video on Lizzo speaking Jabba and the Jabba theme when she waddles with Jack Black, please? Is there video of that? I would imagine that there's video of that. If somebody's got a link,
somebody edited together.
Yeah. If somebody's got a link to that, please feel free to let me know about that. CDH 0879. Good morning, Jeremy and Fish Choker. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Hey,
that's me
hanging out with the Fish Choker, the one and only Fish Choker. Did you see this Babylon Bee headline that I tweeted out, Ryan?
The one about Mario.
Disney executives are baffled that Mario movie made $1 billion without any trans Goombas.
Yeah, crazy. Who would have expected something like that?
Dude, it's so good, man. I fucking love the bee. And it's right. Like, it's so good. Holy shit, man. The Babylon Bee. It's almost hard to tell if it's satire or not anymore. Brie Larson's B19 Toe gives 5 Geeks and Gamers memberships. 5. That's what I'm talking about. Jay's gaping butthole for 5. Good morning. Jay caused my inflation. See the drone attack on the Kremlin? 199 Fish Strangler. Oh my God. What happened at the Kremlin? I have not heard anything about that.
Apparently there was a supposedly, according to Russian sources, Putin survived an assassination attempt there. That's what they're claiming. So I don't know. Sounds like some Mission Impossible shit.
Yeah.
Like fucking Ghost Protocol, Tom Cruise got caught in the Kremlin and it blew up and it was a big whole thing. That's what I think.
I don't know why we don't appreciate the Mission Impossible movies more. Trust me, they get love, but man, I think they're so like overlooked. Especially outside of 2, we have not had a bad Mission Impossible movie. What is that agreed? I think, and they've only gotten better since 3.
Yeah, I think that since 2, they've just gotten increasingly better.
Yeah, and so 3 came out and kind of re-energized it because first movie was super cool. Yeah, okay, cool. The second one come out and everybody was hyped about it, and it was terrible. It was awful. Bad. And then you got 3 with Philip Seymour Hoffman in it, and that kind of restarted things. And then from there, man, those movies have just went crazy. They are so good.
To me, I think that 3 start like defined for us what a Mission Impossible movie is going forward. Yeah. The first one, obviously, super kind of spy tension heavy, right? The second one was just a straight up action flick, like over the top insanity. And then the third one really kind of meshed those two. It's like, all right, we're going to have some moments where they're doing spy shit and the tension's going to build and you're worried about these guys getting caught, but we're also going to have some really cool action set pieces with just enough like believability that's like, you know what? That's crazy, but I guess maybe in some weird reality that might be able to happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what MI3 did. And that they were just able to build a lot on that going forward. And I think with every one of these things, basically Tom Cruise having some crazy over the top stunt that he's actually doing, that they're able to promote it. Like I forget, was it MI5 where he basically ran up and jumped on the cargo plane and held onto the outside as it took off.
Yeah, it was insane.
I remember the first trailer for that. They showed you that. And it was just a very long shot of him hanging on and like eventually the wind getting so bad that he get like his feet get, taken out from under him. And he actually did it. Now he was strapped onto the thing.
But still,
they took off and landed like 7 times to get all these shots with him holding on to the side of a cargo plane. It was amazing. Just nuts.
It is, man. So we have the next Mission Impossible coming out later this year, and now expectations for that I guess they're thinking it could flirt with $1 billion based off the momentum of previous films and obviously Top Gun Maverick. So that's going to be interesting to see. But we got news to talk about today. Ryan, what is first on the news list?
Well, I think the first thing I really want to talk about is a little bit of Star Wars news, because we've been getting a couple things coming out. Star Wars Celebration was a couple weeks ago. They made all these big announcements, and now Damon Lindelof, who is sitting there picketing during the writer's strike, has spoken out a little bit. If you remember, Kathleen Kennedy, just a few weeks before Star Wars Celebration, decided, you know what, things aren't going too well with this movie. Damon Lindelof, we brought him on board to write, but that's not working out very well. And they went their separate ways. All of a sudden, there was another writer on what turned out to be the Rey movie. Well, now we're finding out a little bit more about that. And Damon Lindelof actually came out and said, yeah, I was fired. It's not like it was a mutual parting of ways. They asked me to leave. They told me to leave. Damon Lindelof was asked to leave his Star Wars project. He admits. Now, I know you've probably liked some things from Lindelof, like some things like that. Overall, I think he's kind of a hack, and I think he should actually stay very far away from any franchises that we care about.
That's kind of like Michael Bay. That's how I feel about Michael Bay. Like, I like his original shit, but stay away from shit that we actually know.
Yeah, but he actually did come out and say, yes, I was told to stay away. I was told I'm not wanted here. This is just the most recent one, and a long list of people at Lucasfilm that this has happened to. The creator of Lost and the Leftovers told Esquire's Explain This that he did not leave the Star Wars project he was working on by choice. He was co-writing a Star Wars film when things came to an end. I was in more than talks to join the Star Wars universe. I joined the Star Wars universe, and I was asked to leave. Despite the snub, Lindelof left out specifics on who or what caused the rift. He indicated he was willing to come back. Will I get back in line outside the club and try to get back in again? Absolutely. I can't imagine being that much of a cuck. But then he says this, and this pissed me off when I reacted to it on stream, Jeremy. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Or again, try, as Yoda might say. Now, yeah, it's so funny. You're trying to mix up your words. Jeremy, do you think that Yoda at any point in time would have told someone to try to do something? Or maybe is there a fucking line, a famous line from Star Wars movies where no, Yoda says do or do not, there is no try.
Oh my God, man.
Thank God this motherfucker didn't get a Star Wars movie. But we did get some rumors about what it would have been about. It would have also been about Rey, Jeremy, but an older Rey, a fucking 80-year-old Rey Skywalker training 2 young Jedi of color. I don't know what's going to happen with this current iteration of Star Wars, but I do know that we won't have this. We won't have a Helen Mirren type cast to play an old Rey training 2 young black Jedi. So that's what was taken away from us.
There is so much to unpack with this story. First of all, there's layers to this. The first thing is Kathleen Kennedy once again proving that she is the single worst leader we have ever seen. Another fired. Like, how many people has she fired from Lucasfilm at this point in time? How many creative problems have they had under her leadership? We have seen this time and time and time again. We know what Damon Lindelof is all about. Why did you even hire him in the first place to put yourself in a position to have to fire him? Why was he even hired? We've seen him mess up so much to the point where why would you even hire him? But this goes back to Josh Trank. We got Benioff and Weiss. You've got the Rian Johnson trilogy, Colin Trevorrow. You've got Kevin Feige. You've got Lord and Miller. Patty Jenkins. My God, man. Go back to episode 7. You had the writer of Toy Story 3, Michael Arndt, I think is his name. And he had the script for episode 7. And they fired him. And the reason they fired him, and you can look this up, because his script, his story had too much Luke Skywalker. And according to Lucasfilm, Luke Skywalker was taking too much attention from the new characters. So they fired him, and they brought in, I think that was before JJ was attached, and they brought JJ and Kasdan in, Lawrence Kasdan. And that's where they decided we're not going to have Luke be in the movie until the end because he's taking too much attention away from the new characters. That is a fucking fact. You can look that shit up. Holy shit. Yeah, Gareth Edwards is another one where basically he got railroaded, but he basically bent the knee and said, I'll do whatever you want to do. I just want my name attached to it. Holy shit, man. So now with all of that, then we get to the point where it was about an old Rey training 2 black Jedi. What?
I mean, maybe that's why they said get the fuck out. Like, what? I don't know. Oh my God. I don't think they should bring Rey back, right? I don't think they should do that. But if you're going to, you should at least make it, you might as well make it Daisy Ridley. Like the idea of bringing the character back as an old woman, like, when Daisy Ridley is still right there, you can still tell that story. Technically doesn't make any sense.
It's so bad.
She's making up for her mistakes with Finn. Okay.
I'll be honest with you, Ryan. I kind of wish that movie would have gotten made. That would have gotten, holy shit. That would have been so bad.
It sounds fun to me.
It sounds like a Babylon Bee article. Damon Lindelof fired from Star Wars after pitching an old woman Rey movie where she trains 2 black people. What?
Pretty much. But this is Lucasfilm. This is the chaos that goes on there. And I even heard a story the other day about Taika Waititi's movie, which nobody fucking said anything about. And he just joked about that. Apparently that's still on track. So who knows what exactly is going on there, but it's just more of the same from Disney Lucasfilm.
Oh my Lord. That is so funny. And again, objectively, Kathleen Kennedy, the worst leader in the history of Hollywood, and it's not even close. Buford T. Justice for 50. I see the 50s in the chat. More than 90% of WGA were unemployed before the strike. The majority of that 90% were unemployed for years. Unions only protect incompetent and useless employees. It's time for unions to fade into black. From my experience, I agree. I think if you're like, there's probably examples of good employees that have probably been protected, held out by unions and stuff like that. But generally speaking, it is generally just lazy, fucking useless employees that are protected by the unions. From my limited experience with unions,
we had this conversation yesterday a little bit, and to me, I think I think they were definitely needed at times throughout the history of this country. I think at this time with 24-hour news cycle, with things like that, being able to get stories out there about employee mistreatment and all this stuff, I think at this point in time that unions do more harm than good. That's my opinion. It's been my opinion for a while as someone who had parents who were part of unions and had to deal with unions for the good and the bad and things like that. So that's how I feel about it. Thank you, Buford.
But as I've said, I, as someone that, worked retail for a long time prior to 2016, when Trump broke everybody's brains, I can't imagine what it's like just working a regular job at this point in time with probably the push for diversity, inclusion, and representation and all this bullshit. I'm sure that there's HR meetings about treating the people of color customers with respect, like, hey, when a black person walks in, don't yell the N-word. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that those meetings are happening. When women come in the store to shop, please don't rape them. It's like, okay, I wasn't planning on it, but thank you, HR department.
Thanks for putting that in my head.
Yeah, I imagine that is how it is. And I would love to hear from, and maybe this is more of a Cobra Cast thing, but I love to hear from some retail peeps to see exactly just how bad it is. You know what I mean? Like, good Lord. Don't rape women that shop for eggs and milk, please. Okay.
You read the one about the drone attack in the Kremlin, right?
Yeah.
From Jay's gaping butthole.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that again. Cozy EXP for 5. Good morning, all. I'm 1,000 watch hours from being monetized. You guys rock and help keep my spirit up and going. Love joining in every morning. Well, thank you, Cozy EXP.
I gotta say again, you guys make this morning show. We did not expect this thing to get as much traction as it has, and it's amazing. I look forward to it every day. I really do. So thank you guys.
I'm not a banana for 5. I talked to a man who said he came from a tribe of figs. He's looking for a new king for his tribe. Ryan, do you want his contact info? No, I'm good. I'm not a banana. Thank you. East Coast Toasty Boy member for 2 months. No problem with people not liking comics, video games, anime, etc. But the problem is Matt Walsh is objectively wrong and hurts the anti-left movement.
I'm gonna cover all that on Cobra Cast tonight for sure. So stay tuned for that, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we talked about that a little last night. I think there's some people that are fucking stuck in their ways and aren't going to change. What I like to see is people like Benny Johnson out there. And I think if you for people that want people to pay more attention to that shit, go support Benny. Go support what people like Benny are doing. When you see people that do get it, give them your support and show them why you think that matters.
100%. Benny is the man.
I don't think that someone like Matt Walsh is going to be argued or debated or talked into thinking that shit is something that he should care about.
Yep.
That's how I see it. You know what I mean? So,
but I do support roasting him though. If we roast the left as much for taking pot shots at fans and culture and all that, so we'll roast the right. That's my personal take on it, and that's what Cobra Cast is for. So so last time, so my last Cobra Cast, all the Crowder fans were saying I'm a Daily Wire shill because I was criticizing Crowder. Now tonight I get to criticize the Daily Wire, so I guess I'll be Crowder shill now. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Stephen Wasick for 5. Biggest casting mistake: Alec Baldwin in Mission Impossible or Brie in Fast 10? Well, I've never seen Brie in Fast 10. I think Alec Baldwin's fine in the Mission Impossible movies.
I do too, and I honestly
he's not in it a ton. So.
I'm no bullshit. Like, I know the Brie meme and all that stuff. Actually, like, from what I've seen, Brie actually looks pretty good in the Fast 10. You know what I mean? Like, I think that works. These movies, these movies are so nonsensical. Now, again, to be fair, I have not watched any since Paul Walker's. That's Fast 7, I think, is the last one I watched. I would like to catch up on them. Those movies, I love those movies, but yeah, I was a big fan of Paul Walker, so I haven't actively stayed away from them as much as I just haven't had the desire to watch them. But I would like to catch up on them at some point in time, and I think Fast 10 is going to be dumb fun as the rest of them.
Yeah, I'm excited for Bree and Fast 10. There's no doubt about that.
Of course you are.
Callum Lau for 2. If you fail, identify as a woman. I don't know what you're talking about, but yes, I agree. Jay's gaping butthole for 2. Lindell needs to strike on breathing. Thank you. Like Damon Lindelof, is that what you mean? Lindelof?
I guess.
Rosie Toes for 5. Saw Attack of the Doc last night. It was great. I never watched Attack of the Show, but still enjoyed watching Chris Gore's documentary. Yeah, I got a screening of it in a theater when we were in Vegas. So I got to watch it as intended. So that was really cool. And now I've got it downloaded on my phone.
Well, that's the cool thing about like what Chris put together is, you know, whether you really knew anything about G4 or not, you can still enjoy Attack of the Doc. So obviously I knew a little more about G4 than a lot of people from back in the day. I'm not saying I was an avid viewer, but I definitely watched G4 back in the day. But yeah, I really enjoyed Attack of the Doc. I hope at some point he does a documentary on Disney Star Wars, much in the light of like the People versus George Lucas doc, which I'm sure most of you remember that one. So
that'd be pretty crazy. You were saying that the other day. That'd be
that would be awesome.
Harden of Astora for 5. Best movie JJ has ever made, which in his case is not saying a lot, was MI3. I like it. It's a JJ movie. It feels like when you go back and watch it, it feels very much in the era of like almost like the Transformers movies. The shading of everything, or not the shading, but like the filter that's used in it, and some of the shots. It feels very like, I don't know, was that mid to late 2000s? When did MI3 come out? 2006 or something?
I want to say 5. No, maybe 7. I can't remember. But I
2006. It was 2006.
Okay. So I really did like Mission Impossible 3. I don't know, man. I really, really enjoyed it. Is that JJ's best movie? I really like Star Trek 09. I know that I'm going to get a lot of hate for that shit. Okay, but I did. I'm not a Star Trek fan, so
I didn't mind it as much as a lot of the big Star Trek fans.
Yeah, I like Star Trek 09 a lot. But Mission Impossible 3 probably. All things said, now that The Force Awakens is the complete trash fire for me versus where I really enjoyed it until like basically The Last Jedi. I guess Mission Impossible 3. I like a lot of JJ's TV shows too. He's got a lot of good TV shows.
The problem with Star Trek 09 is that it's like a Star Wars movie in Star Trek. It's not really a Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
You know? And now that made a lot of people who aren't really Star Trek fans be interested in it. But for people who are really Star Trek fans, they're like, okay, that's kind of a lot for what they were supposed to be doing. And it's funny because before all this fucking multiverse and timeline stuff started happening in comics, JJ did it in 09, like splitting the timeline right there for these movies, which is kind of funny.
Yep. Hey, check this out. We got a tweet from Matthew Marsden.
Oh, yeah.
He's retweeting Star Wars Theory, who's talking about, George promoting fan films. I said, I would absolutely pay to watch a fan film made by the Geeks and Gamers clan. It would be way better than anything Disney has put out in the past 20 years. Shout out to Matthew Marsden. That is awesome. So I retweeted, and Jay's talking about, we're stuff with Epic Verse going on. That's
you listen to Freddie Prinze Jr.?
This right here, I have not. Is this worth listening to?
Yeah, probably. It's just more Freddie Prinze Jr. just being well, I won't say that word. But.
Here we go.
But I don't want
to. Oh, is that music? Is that going to hit us?
I think he should be all right. We'll see.
I see your version of Ahsoka Tano and Darth Maul because I already saw Dave Filoni do it, and I promise his is better because it was his idea. Those were his characters, not Darth Maul, but Ahsoka was his concept. So
So by that logic, should we not want Disney Star Wars since George Lucas has already done it better, Freddie?
You just change the names. Just have a character named Renoka Fano, and instead of a lightsaber, she's got a sword, and I'll give that a shot. But I don't want to see your fan film, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I just want to challenge you to be original. I want to challenge your ideas as an artist.
He's such a fucking idiot, dude. God, he's the stupidest motherfucker.
I think when you hang around Dave Filoni all day, okay, it's not his fault. It's not Freddie's fault.
No, it is. It's not his fault. You know what his fault is? It's because his wife has always been far more accomplished and famous than him. Because he was for like 13 seconds he was a fucking teen heartthrob when he made the fucking hacky sack movie or whatever the fuck that was. What was that? She's All That, where he did the hacky sack scene.
Yeah,
okay,
I think Sarah Michelle Gellar is actually like using Freddie Prinze Jr. just to suck the life force out of him to like make sure she stays young. Because he looks old as fuck and she still looks good.
He's such a fucking dumbass, man. I hate that. I hate how he talks. I hate the broness of him. He's so dumb and he's so dismissive. We've seen this dude disrespect fans more times than I can count. What a clown, dude. So, but yeah, hey, yeah, I will say, best role for him, it was Sandy, the babysitter in Friends. Very authentic to Freddie Prinze Jr. right there.
What did you think of Kanan as a character? His character in Star Wars.
I liked Kanan. Yeah. I didn't think anything like Kanan to me was it was a necessary character for especially for Rebels in general, but I liked Kanan. Not like one of the great characters in animated Star Wars, but yeah, solid character.
You know what I hate about Kanan is that now in every single thing that Dave Filoni does, he has to shove Kanan Jarrus in there in some way. Like in one of your favorite things, you know, the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars. They have a hologram of Kanan Jarrus standing there, like with all the fucking masters discussing fucking plans during Revenge of the Sith. They fucking shoved a hologram of Kanan Jarrus in there to show that he was present for that. Same thing with Tales of the Jedi, the Ahsoka training montage thing that they have in Tales of the Jedi. Kanan Jarrus just happens to be looking there watching her as the great and powerful Ahsoka. He's inspired by her. It's just, I fucking can't stand this bullshit like, oh, we have to put this person here because they need to be important. This is my character. I need to put them in Revenge of the Sith.
Well, to me, that sounds a lot more like Freddie Prinze Jr. just sucks my, my wolf cock so much that I'm going to put him in everything. Like, God, man, Freddie Prinze Jr. is one of the most cringe people on the planet. He really is. How many interactions we've had a lot of interactions with him back and forth on Twitter over the years, man.
That was one of my first, like videos that got any traction. I think was me roasting Freddie Prinze Jr. for his fucking his Star Wars, whatever it was. Star Wars is for kids take or whatever it was.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah,
and he was like, and he was talking about like there's only 2 Sith and 2 Jedi left, 2 plus 2. And balance. It's like your character literally plays someone who's also a fucking Jedi, like in that same era. You forgot about your entire show that you were a part of. But so stupid. JRG projects for $10. EA makes a better Star Wars movie with Disney properties, Star Wars High Republic, than Lucasfilm proper. Jedi Survivor should have been a movie. Cal Kestis is Luke 2.0. I'll be real. I think that obviously Jedi Survivor is getting fucking shit on because of the state that it was released in. The first Jedi Fallen Order, I think, is kind of a mid story. It's like, okay, hey, another Jedi that survived the Purge, another Jedi who has an encounter with Darth Vader that survives, blah, blah, blah. To be fair, at the end of Jedi Fallen Order, spoiler alert, it's not like you're fighting Vader, you're fucking running from him. As soon as you're running away because you're fearful and you know you can't survive. But Jedi Survivor heard some really good things about the story, and I think the character of Cal Kestis is a good one. I like the fact that the actor who plays him is really into it. Mm-hmm. So, for people that are getting some Star Wars they enjoy out of that, I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I mean, you would think we'd get a live action Cal Kestis, but
I think it'll happen.
Well, I'm more concerned with getting the old woman Rey film and really really hoping that happens.
I think they're stupid if they don't do it. The problem is that you've once again boxed yourself into this fucking era between the prequels and the original trilogy, where it's like, okay, you have Cal Kestis that's surviving during the Jedi Purge. What do you bring him into? Like, are you going to do another show set in that time frame? How are you going to have? My biggest problem with Cal Kestis is that he's running around with a fucking lightsaber everywhere, that everybody knows about him when the Jedi are supposed to be extinct, when they're supposed to be in hiding. That's my biggest problem with it. Yeah, it's fucking cool, but it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people would like to see that character in live action, but I don't know. Special Ray for $10. I really like that script by David, especially the line where I looked at two kids from the ghetto planet of Wakandar and told them they were the chosen ones. The Empire was holding them back. That's from Special Ray. So too bad. Bradman for 10. Asmongold has now reacted to Gary Disparu and the Florida man who thinks he's dating Gina Carano. When is he coming on FNT or Tuesday Night's Main Event?
Asmongold, I just don't, man. I think Asmongold, he still runs in circles that like people that would hate us if they knew of us or found out about us. I feel like I like Asmongold. I just think he would probably not want to be affiliated with us from that perspective. Maybe I'm wrong. But like he runs in circles with like a lot of these big Twitch streamers that are super would hate our guts.
Yeah. Jay's 199 Bovine Battalion for 199 says, "May the moo be with you." Thank you. Eugenio Alavencia for 5. Hey, Ryan, Sports Wars news for you. ESPN reporting Jackson Mahomes was arrested for sexual battery charges. Could have happened to a better a-hole. I already put out a video about that.
Already put it out right before we went live.
Thank you. Jay's gaping butthole becomes a channel member. Eli Saul for 2. Miming Swalwell on CobraCast is priceless. 199.
199, baby.
I'll be your Huckleberry for 2. It's Frank Gore. LOL. That's right. Frank Gore. Callum Lau for 2. Cloverfield was good. Did you like
Cloverfield? I did like Cloverfield. I like Cloverfield. But I don't think JJ directed that. I think he produced that. Pretty sure he produced that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, pretty sure he produced it.
Allison Blunderland for 10. Women need safe spaces. Also, men can be women too. Don't be transphobic and try to define what a woman is. Just let them into women's sports and changing rooms. Some lefty employer, probably.
Yep.
Thank you. Eric John Pizza Artist for 199. You guys ever consider doing your own award show?
Yes, have considered that, doing it like a year-end award show on Geeks and Gamers. So, you know, we'll see. What word did I mess up this time?
Affiliated, maybe?
Did I mess up affiliated?
I heard someone said, let's see, don't let Jeremy get away with affiliated. Affiliated?
I don't.
Must have been talking about Asmongold.
I'm going back.
Still affiliated?
I gotta listen to it now. You keep reading.
Callum for $5. The problem with JJ and TV is he never thinks about the endings first. It drags and raises more questions. It's been pretty consistent. And then Callum for another 5. His wife can't act, and she's horrible as a real person. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Bethesda's lore master member for 3 months. Only good thing about Freddie Prinze Jr. is the motorboat he gets to do or watches Michelle's boyfriend do. Jack Hudson for 2 with a little corgi super sticker. Thank you.
Let's look at this. What did I say? I feel like I like Asmongold. I just think he would probably not want to be affiliated with us. I did say affiliated. How the hell did I say that?
It wasn't just like you went over.
I'd already know.
I quote affiliated.
I know. No, I had already heard it, so I knew what I was going to say. But yeah, so what the hell? Why did I say that? Affiliated. The fuck?
Instigated versus affiliated. I don't
affiliated.
Know. Affiliated. I don't know what the fuck that means. Space Monkey for 199. Animation greater than live action. Live action is trash.
In reference to what?
Yeah, I don't know if you're just talking in general or Star Wars. I don't know. LJK for 199 says, wait for it. Thank you. Floki the Mad for 199. Swig of cola for the working man.
Swig of Dr. Pepper with cream soda for the working man.
Emperor Creatine for 10. Here's a hot take for you. Does Vader ever take a fight seriously aside from Obi-Wan? He seems to toy with all his opponents. I think it's because he knows he has no real equal. I don't think that when Darth Vader's Darth Vader, I don't know how much pleasure he takes in toying with people. He's such like a miserable fucking piece of shit. You know, when he is Darth Vader, I don't think that unless he has a purpose to do so, I don't know if that's the case. What I get tired of is every time we see Darth Vader, people get away. I had a problem with it in Rebels. I had a problem with it in Rogue One. I had a problem with it in Jedi Survivor. I have a problem with, because eventually when you hear that breathing, when you hear footsteps, when you see that lightsaber ignite, it's not going to be intimidating anymore, because you continue to see so many people that encounter Darth Vader and live to tell the tale. So I don't know. That's how I feel about it. And again, Rogue One, I'm glad you got your hallway scene. I'm glad you have a scene with, Darth Vader moving like we never, ever possibly saw from him in the original trilogy, which makes no sense considering he's got an altercation just, a couple days later. But to me, I don't know why Darth Vader didn't force grab that motherfucker who had the plans, pull him back to him, and fucking stab him in the throat. So it's like, I feel like there could have been ways that they maybe showed that badassery without leaving that.
The more I thought about that after watching that movie, the more I did not like that scene. Like in isolation, it's an awesome scene. It is an awesome scene in isolation. But then you start thinking about it and how closely it's tied to, A New Hope and all of that. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. And it only, like, if you go back 20 years from now, if you watch, everything in order and you're watching that scene and you see Vader do that, and then you go right into A New Hope and then you see the fight scene with Obi-Wan, you're like, what happened? It just doesn't, it's distracting. And that's kind of symbolizes Disney Star Wars, where they just go for the moment and they don't worry about any of the ramifications it has on the story at hand. They don't care.
Al Simmons for $10. Jedi Survivor's a trash game that made Vader look weak against a random Jedi Master. In the last game, she wasn't that powerful, but it's forces female effective Disney Star Wars. Even Vader gets it. I don't know about that part yet, so I'm not sure. Lord Baratheon for 5. How many shows, movies are set between the prequels and the OT? Also, isn't it a bit ridiculous that Cal has encountered Vader multiple times? I don't know about the Jedi Survivor plot. I know about the Fallen Order one. I don't know about the Survivor one. I do know Survivor takes place a couple years after Fallen Order, and basically Cal Kestis is like a known name among Imperials. Like, they're like, oh, the fucking, he's a big problem, the rogue Jedi, like blah, blah, blah. It's like, I feel like that's the wrong way to go with it. But that's what you get when you wave your lightsaber around on Imperial bases and shit. That's why you shouldn't be doing it. But to me, that's kind of an era that they had been stuck in for a while, whether you're talking about things like Bad Batch or the Obi-Wan series, Andor. All of this is kind of taking place in that same time.
I think I've asked you this. What do you think do you think that Obi-Wan was the worst thing from Disney Star Wars to date? What they've made?
I think that I think that Book of Boba Fett is probably like a worse overall product, but I think that the damage that Obi-Wan does to characters is worse. Yeah, like Boba really Fett's a character that a lot of people like, but like, oh, they brought him back. Okay, they fucking destroyed him, whatever. Obi-Wan is someone who has still been untouched by the fucking scourge of Disney, by Lucasfilm fucking everything up. Obi-Wan was clean and pristine. They destroyed like his character.
I think Obi-Wan Kenobi series is the worst thing, and that says a lot considering we've had The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan was so bad.
It would be tough because you'd have to base, like, I think you should clump all the sequels together as like one story almost. It's like,
yeah.
That story does more damage because at the end of the day, Obi-Wan's story is going to resolve in a certain way. But in terms of like a character that they didn't need to do this to, that they didn't need to tell this story. They forced it in there. Obi-Wan shouldn't have been doing anything during this time frame, and they managed to just make an absolute embarrassment of him. And like they the fact that people are willing to excuse away this rematch between them. I remember when the story first came out and Kathleen Kennedy mentioned something about the rematch of the century or whatever between them. And I was like, they're going to fight. They're going to make them fight. People are like, no, they wouldn't do that. And then we realized they were going to make them fight. Then people excused away. Well, he never specifically said the last time I saw you was on Mustafar. Fuck off.
Yeah.
The levels that people will go to make excuses for this shit is next level.
Not allowed to criticize it at all. You're a toxic, racist man, baby, if you do. I will happily wear that label forever if that's what that means, because Disney Star Wars is dog shit.
Mikey Gussler for 2, pooping pants. Thank you. Space Monkey for 199. Example, DC and anime. We're talking about live action and animated. Lord J for 5. Yes, Darth, all I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men. Vader doesn't take fights seriously. Taker for 2. I'm not affiliated, just to be clear. All hail FNT.
I don't know why. I know most of the time I can explain. I have no idea why I said that. I have no fucking
The best
idea.
part was the quote that you paused and put it in quotes. Fyodor Dankstoyevsky for $10. A buddy of mine got a screener of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I won't give any spoilers. I'll just say this weakest of the 3, not by a lot though, has nothing to do with the rest of the MCU. Solid 7 out of 10 in my opinion.
I'm looking forward, and we're going to talk about that.
We may as well talk about it right now.
I'm looking forward to Guardians in ISO. But I also I don't care if it fails. I really don't. But let's talk about it. I got a few things to say.
Yeah, we might as well talk about what the projections are for this thing. Let me pull this up. There's now no doubt in anyone's mind, even the mainstream media has admitted it at this point, that there's a problem with the MCU. When you look at the last half of Phase 4 at the box office, when you look at the beginning of Phase 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, total and complete flop and failure. Didn't even hit $500 million when $600 million was its break-even point. But everybody assumed that Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that's going to be okay, right? That's going to be different. That's not going to fall into the same thing. It might not hit $1 billion, but it's still going to do really well. Well, we've started to see the box office results, the box office predictions, I should say, come in, and it's not very good. We saw the initial ones were between 120 and 155 million weeks ago. And as we get closer to the date, it's just gone down. And now you have the trades predicting a $120 million opening weekend for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Some of them, like Deadline, are even going less, 110 million projected. And when we look at Box Office Pro, the highs and the lows from what they have projected, 110 to 130, which continues to go down week after week as they get closer to the release date. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3, at this point in time, it looks like it will be lucky to surpass the opening weekend for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 all the way back from 2017. And if that's the case, and if it tracks the same way we've seen with the MCU, bad fall-offs on the second weekend, like we've seen all of Phase 4, this is a movie that might not make its money back. And with a $250 million budget, that might be a tall task. But what is going on, Jeremy? Did you expect this to happen with Guardians?
I did not. So as you know, I've been predicting that I thought Guardians would make $800 million around there, or $850 million. And this is after I got the wake-up call, after I predicted that Thor: Love and Thunder was going to make $1 billion, because not that I thought the movie was going to be good, but I was like, it's coming off Ragnarok, which did really well, even though it had some criticisms. You know, that was the type of kind of MCU film that people seem to be responding to. I didn't understand quite how bad the Marvel Cinematic Universe had been hurt up to that point. So Ragnarok came out. What did it do? 650 or something like that after that massive opening weekend. What
Love and Thunder was 750 overall.
Yeah, Love and Thunder is what I mean. Love and
Thunder.
That
had a $146 million opening. Right?
Yeah,
so
massive
similar to what
opening.
Guardians had back in 2017. Yeah.
And so that actually shows you that The Marvel Cinematic Universe is in serious trouble. Now, what I've been saying up to this point is we've seen, Ant-Man, we've seen Eternals, we've seen Wakanda Forever, we've seen all of these films underperforming. But what I've been pointing to was Guardians. Guardians is a franchise that I think still has a lot of goodwill with a lot of fans. I personally loved the first and the second. I think the first was widely loved by everybody. The second one, not so much, but still, I think that generally speaking, people like that universe. Chris Pratt's leading it. So going into Guardians 3, what I've been saying is if this movie underperforms, this is going to be the biggest statement we have had to date that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is no longer in a good place officially. If Guardians doesn't do something, this is bad for them. And then what's the next film after Guardians? The Marvels. Holy shit. If Guardians underperforms, the Marvels is in big fucking trouble. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's no arguing it anymore. There's no debating it. We have been telling you the MCU is in trouble, and now it looks like with even Guardians being underperforming based on the early numbers we're getting back, this is a big problem for the MCU. And dude, like I just told you, I just recently watched Infinity War and Endgame again. Bro, especially Infinity War. Those movies are so fucking good. So good. And to see how far Marvel has fallen in just a few years due to identity politics and social justice pandering is unbelievable. I don't think Guardians is going to suffer from any of those problems. But I think Guardians is going to be penalized for the overall problem with the MCU.
Yeah, I think when you look at all these comparisons, right? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, 2017, made $870 million worldwide. Keep in mind, 100 million was from China. This Guardians movie is likely not going to do anything like that. We're seeing more like $30 or $40 million totals from the MCU in China now that they've reopened it because there's so much other Chinese box office competition. But also, when you look, not only did it have a $146 million opening weekend, it only had a 55% drop. When's the last time a Marvel movie had that kind of drop? It's been years since something like that. What we are seeing is 64, 66, 67, 70% drops for all these phase 4 and phase 5 things.
Yep.
So that's kind of what you have to assume this would do as well. So I think that it's not going to get 120. I think it's probably going to get closer to like 135, 140 million, maybe still be just less than this, but they'll kind of parade it out as, look, it overperformed. Like they'll try to spin it any way they can, like they do with all of these things. But the reality is, even if it goes over this number, even if it goes over Guardians 2, just like we saw with Thor, Love and Thunder, it's not going to have the same tracking. It's just the energy isn't there. And when you look at pre-ticket sales and things like that, it's less than half of what Multiverse of Madness was in the same given time. They had like $28 million in pre-sale tickets of people that got their tickets before. At the same time, where Multiverse of Madness had about 60 million. That's a movie that opened up to like $190 million domestically. So there's a lot of things that could go very wrong. It could actually be less than what's being projected. We'll see. But right now, I think the MCU, for something they thought they could bank on, they have to be very, very worried about the tepid projections that are out there for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
And you did this, Marvel, you did this to yourselves. And again, as someone, I liked Guardians 1, Guardians 2, and the holiday special. And I like this universe. I like these characters. I'm a huge fan of Chris Pratt. I like all the characters in it, all of them. Even if I end up liking this movie, I'm almost actively cheering for it to not perform as well. Because number one, James Gunn has already moved on. Okay. I think this is going to close this kind of chapter of these characters anyway. And I'm looking at the greater good of, I just want Marvel to continue to suffer for what they have done to the fans, to these characters, and destroyed this once great franchise with all of their virtue signaling bullshit. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But I'm telling you, if Guardians if it loses money, Marvel's is fucked. And the Marvels is probably fucked either way. But if Guardians underperforms, man, this is going to send massive, massive red flags to Marvel and Disney executives. And they deserve it. They deserve every single bit of it.
Bethesda's lore master for 5 is a Philgate like Gamergate, Jeremy, or did you have too much Chick-fil-A last night?
Too
Love
much
this morning
Chick-fil-A.
stream. Keep up the great work.
Too much Chick-fil-A.
Taker for 2. Gary accidentally called his channel Nude-rotic.
Did he really?
Probably. Chris B for 5. All new Star Wars is trash, movies and games. I'll stick to replaying good stuff like despecialized movies and Dark Forces Kyle Katarn games. There you go. Lord Baratheon for 5. Obi-Wan. That boy is our last hope. Yoda. No, there's Ahsoka, Ezra, Cal Kestis. Yeah, exactly. When you don't kill these characters off, that's the problem. Joshua Melton for 5. I saw an advanced screening of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 last week. It's one of the better MCU movies to come out since Endgame. 8 out of 10. There you go. Jimbo for 5. I'm not affiliated with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. Orange Gonton 199.
Orange Gonton, baby.
Mr. Buttcrack Media, member for 3 months, says, hey, all. Hello. Lance for $20. Yeah, sorry, I don't watch James Gunn movies anymore. Not until someone checks his hard drives and makes sure it's clean after those jokes on Twitter. Thank you for the $20.
No, I hear you on that. I mean, so the James Gunn stuff, obviously I covered that a lot here on this channel. And I was 100% supportive of him, getting fired for the horrific things that he said. Even though talking about kids, I'm trying to be careful with how I word it, because I was gonna say things that YouTube doesn't like, but talking about that in reference to children is unacceptable. Period. Those are not jokes that are acceptable in any scenario whatsoever. When dudes get together, we talk a lot of shit and we say a lot of fucked up things. We don't say stuff like that. Okay, we just don't. Not even in the worst locker rooms are you going to hear dudes talk like that. So he got fired. I was happy that he got fired. He came out and he gave clarification to it and he apologized for it. I still don't think it's right, but at the end of the day, who am I to, he was just, according to him, he was being an edgelord back then. Okay, whatever. So when it comes down to the movies itself, though, I enjoyed the movies that he's done, and the movies that he's done have not shown any hint of that nonsense. So all you can do is take somebody at face value from that standpoint.
Naso Keshev for 5. Hey, guys, I want to see a Star Wars movie, Rey vs. Reva. It would be something like Highlander 3. Only one girl boss may survive.
Say that
Rey
one more
vs.
time.
Reva. He wants to see a Star Wars movie, Rey vs. Reva.
Bro,
it'll be something like Highlander 3. Only one girl boss may survive.
Bring it on. I would love to see Rey versus Reva. That movie.
Oh,
that movie.
Maybe Reva is Finn's mom.
Oh, I mean, all black people have to be connected.
Black.
Yes. All black people have to be connected.
Lando's his dad.
Yeah.
Lando's his dad. Reva is his mom. Jana, or whoever that other fucking bitch was in Rise of Skywalker, is also related to them. Finn's sister.
All black people are related to Star Wars.
And she's a descendant of Mace Windu. Selena Redwine, member for 3 months. Hey guys, out of all the so-called big movies of the summer, which one do you think will be the worst? Guardians of the Galaxy, The Marvels, or The Little Mermaid? Love y'all. Well, Marvels isn't coming out till November, so
I'm going with Little Mermaid.
I think Little Mermaid's going to be a disaster.
I think Little Mermaid's going to be horrifically bad.
Yeah, I think so too. Blast Radius for 10. Didn't Damon Lindelof say he backed out because he didn't think he could get Star Wars right for fans? Now he's saying something completely different, caught in a lie. Well, when he didn't say that, a couple of days before the news got public, he was like, I really think that if you can't do a good job, if you're not the right person, then maybe you shouldn't be the person. I think he said that in preparation to understand it was probably going to leak at some point. But now he's saying he was asked to leave, maybe because they didn't think he was the right person. He seems very cuckish about the entire thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry I wasn't good enough.
Yeah, he is a little bitch, to be honest.
That's how it sounds to me.
He is a little bitch.
Torsten for 5. Fantastic Four. Mila Kunis, The Thing. Leslie Jones, Human Torch. Freckle Jesus, Invisible Person. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Miss Fantastic. Do it, you cowards.
When are we ever going to get past this weird timeline we're in, man? Holy shit.
I know. Over on Rumble, Gary R. Hussein for $5 says, I like you. And then he becomes a monthly supporter over on Rumble.
Hey,
And then
hey.
is another $2 super chat, a little
Thank
Doge,
you.
little Doge dog.
Thank you.
Glasses
So
on.
tonight I'm gonna have Krista work on getting emojis and stuff like that set up for members over on Rumble. I'm really happy with the progress Rumble's making. I saw a lot of the 199s in the chat already from earlier today in the Rumble chat, so thank you guys for that. And yeah, so Rumble's doing good, man. We've got 350 people watching over there. That's a solid ass number for just a random stream, that we do with not putting on the front page or anything like that. We are closing in on 50,000 subscribers over there, or followers over there over on Rumble. So I'm really happy with that platform. I think they're doing a lot of upgrades, and it's very needed right now in this particular point in time. So shout out to all of you. And we got 2,300 people watching. We're going to be ending this here in just a few minutes, but Side Scrollers is going to go live here on Geeks and Gamers with Boogie 2988. And so the Side Scrollers every Wednesday happens here on the Geeks Gamers main channel. That is a podcast that takes place Monday through Friday on the Side Scrollers channel, with the exception of Wednesdays. Here we have it on Geeks and Gamers. Stutter and Craig does a great job. And Boogie 2988 will be on. I decided not to go on there. Craig asked me if I wanted to come on, but I think that needs to be on its own without me being part of it all the time. But that's gonna be pretty cool. I don't know if Dan's gonna be there. Dan might be there. Dan Vask. And I know that there's a Dune trailer about to drop. So damn it. We're going to have to we had a hard out at 12 though. So we're going to have to, I may just do a reaction and record it for the channel. May do that. So I don't know. You want to watch it? It's apparently going to premiere in just a few minutes. So if it's about to premiere in a few minutes, let's do it. Look it up, Ryan. See if you can find a link for it, and we can react to the Dune trailer.
Oh, this okay. I thought it was out, and then it's like
no, it's literally about the premiere.
All right. Well, I don't know where the premiere will be, but when it drops, we'll react to it real quick.
Deplorable Walmart guy. Hail, Jeremy. Been following you since 2016. Hail to all the channel's crew, and of course, the Snake Pit. Thank you. Hell yeah, man. Appreciate that. And don't forget, Cobra Cast is tonight over on D-Day Cobra. And I see Matt Walsh and the Quartering are going back and forth right now. So I will be covering that extensively over on Cobra Cast tonight. So be on the lookout for that.
Retired Millennial for 2 months. What's your opinion on watching Rise of Skywalker, Return of the Jedi in the cinema and rewarding Disney? What's this new crap show you fans are stirring up? So some people say if you go see Revenge or Return of the Jedi in theaters, then you're a Disney shill. I saw some people fighting about stuff like that. The way I see it, $5 million in a weekend is literally a drop in the bucket in terms of Disney. But I don't have any issue if people go see Return of the Jedi in theaters. There's a lot of people out there that never got an opportunity to, or maybe they went when they were a kid with their dad. Maybe they want to take their kids. I don't have any problems with it. It's George Lucas's Star Wars, and I think that if you want to show support for George Lucas's Star Wars, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'm never going to tell people how to spend their money.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this for years. My entire stance is you can do whatever you want with your money. I don't care. It is not for me to decide. When you start drawing a line in the sand that someone has to spend their money how you want them to spend it, it's just a ridiculous statement. The whole idea of don't support Disney, yet you're tweeting from your iPhone. Do you really want to open that one? Do you really want to open that discussion about moral superiority, about people going to see a Disney movie or going to a Disney park while you're tweeting from your fucking iPhone? And again, I have a fucking Android, which is just as bad as the iPhone. The point is once you start opening Pandora's box on there, I simply say, if you're a fan and you want to see something, go see it. If you don't go see it. At the end of the day, I'm going to tell you how I feel about stuff. I'm going to tell you how I feel about these companies, but I don't believe in telling other people what to do with their time and money. I might recommend things, but I'll never demonize you for doing what you want with your money. That's it. Not that hard. So
yeah, it's like, okay, if you have cable You're giving money to Disney.
Yes.
Even if you're not watching ESPN, even if you're not watching Disney, even if you're not watching ABC, because that's how cable works. Everybody gets a share of that.
If you're on the internet, you're giving money to Disney in some way, shape, or form through advertising. If you're on YouTube, you know, like you're giving them your money. Just are.
If someone wants to go watch something in theaters that they love, I got no problem with it.
All right, Dune trailer's about to drop, so can we find it? Everybody's talking about
let me
chat.
finish. Let me finish these.
Okay,
Fyodor Dankskoyevsky for 5. Apparently, all the new Star Wars Visions episodes are female led. I really just want to ask KK to go to therapy and stop taking your trauma out on Star Wars. Jason Fox for 16 months. Hail, gonna watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3 today, so let's see what James Gunn has done with it in Disney Star Wars, a full chaos show. Aurora Uplinks for 5. I think the positive response to full theaters with Return of the Jedi actually stirred up a lot of stuff at Disney and Lucasfilm. There were changes. I think it's a little early. I think it's a little early to have any idea whether there's any changes. But no, I think if you want to go and show support for George Lucas's Star Wars, there's nothing wrong with that.
All right, I got it. Here we go. All right, this is the premiere. Okay, here we go. All right, here it is. Dune Part 2 official trailer.
It's breathtaking. When you see sand here, imagine water. If you dive in, you can't reach the bottom.
You dive in.
Yes, it's called swimming.
I don't believe you. In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets. But the darkest of them all may remain. The end of House Atreides.
Your father didn't believe in revenge.
What if Paul Atreides was still alive? Have you ever had a dream about your first ride?
Huh.
Don't try to impress anyone. You're brave, we all know that. Be simple. Be direct. Nothing fancy.
I understand. Nothing fancy.
You will never lose me, Paul Atreides. We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope!
Oh shit.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
I'm excited for it, man.
Looks
I really
fucking
am.
good as fuck. Looks so damn good. Like that looks good. Holy shit.
I really want to freaking see him riding that sandworm, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really dig it. I love this part at the end. You know, this is a story of a dude who is seen himself eventually becoming Space Hitler, effectively, right? There's the dreams, the visions he has, and now you're starting to see him start to go down this path with the realization of what might happen. And
Dune Part 1, to me, is one of my favorite theater experiences I've had in a long time. Was not expecting to like that movie as much as I did, and I watched it multiple times after it came out on Blu-ray, digital, and all that. And it is heavily reliant upon this. Part 2 needs to stick the landing. It does. It definitely needs to stick the landing. That trailer was awesome, fucking awesome. So I think it looks great. We're gonna have to leave it at that outside of reading these last few super chats, and then we got side scrollers that's live right now here on this channel. So Ryan, Take us
Aurora
away.
Umplix for 5. Oh man, I used to read the Dune books in high school for a year or two. It's pretty amazing. Has strong male and female characters. Wrote in the 60s. Yeah, the books, I will say this, the books are a tough read in terms of the structure of them and how they're laid out and things that you learn and trying to understand the timeline, but it's a great story. And we are all caught up.
All right, so we got the Side Scrollers crew live over on Geeks and Gamers. It's in the pinned post right now. So if you want to go over there and show some 199 love for Side Scrollers every Wednesday here on Geeks and Gamers, and made that decision because I want to try to give you guys more content here on the main channel, because that's what it's all about, is giving you guys good content. So we're going to go get some vlogging done and get some business done. But if you guys want to go on over there right now, Boogie2988 on Geeks and Gamers.
There you go.
10 years ago, if you would have told me that, what the fuck, you know, what a wild timeline we're in. But thank you guys so much. Really appreciate all of you. Thank you for all the support. You guys are the best. Have a great day. Go check out Side Scrollers 199 for life. We'll see you tonight for Fortnite here on this channel as well, and then Cobra Cast after that. Bye everyone. Talk to you later.